Joining us tonight in the studio, Valenzuela Mayor WIN Gatchalian. Valenzuela City is one of the few cities that has a family planning program. You can join our discussion by sending in your comments through Twitter. Just use the hashtag rundown. We had invited numerous anti-reproductive health officials to come on the show or on the phone, but they declined, citing earlier appointments. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the rundown.
Good evening.
All right, let's give them a background on how long your city has been doing this program, the Valenzuela City Population Management Program, and how did this come about, and how's it going so far?
Well, I assumed office 2004. And then from there, we, to make the long story short, we conducted surveys. I personally went around to get a good feel of what the constituency wants and what their views towards family planning. And our surveys came out that majority of our population, as high as 80%, are looking for some sort of family planning program. So we launched it slowly around 2000, I think about 2006. But by 2007, we really funded a lot of our population management program. So I think in the last 3 years, we channeled a lot of our resources. We networked with a lot of NGOs to get external support. USAID is actually helping us because they saw that we are serious in terms of launching population management programs.
What was it like starting it out? Was there resistance already? I mean, as of now, anytime you mention any sort of hint of the RH bill coming through, you hear the Catholic Church, you hear the conservative groups, you hear the pro-life groups. Did you get any resistance in the local level?
Well, we started off as the advocacy was really for responsible parenthood. And responsible parenthood has a lot of modules, including family planning and how to plan your family. So when we launched our program, we didn't encounter any major resistance. Actually, no resistance at all.
None?
None.
Okay.
And there were a lot of queries, a lot of questions, especially from our less fortunate constituency because they don't understand the program. But we created a group, grassroots group that specifically explains and advocates family planning. So their minds now are open to this type of program.
Weren't you at least even curious? As you said, nobody spoke out, but weren't you curious to find out, I wonder what the church is saying? I mean, I wonder how they feel. Even though they vocalize, they didn't call a press conference or whatever, but did you try to find out?
Well, we did this. I believe we have great respect. The church and local government has great respect to each other, towards each other. And
you're talking about the local church also specifically?
The local church,
so
the local churches. And when we launched this program, we didn't do a big, promotional launch. We did it quietly. And we went to the grassroots, to the barangay, to the depressed areas, and launched this program without any fanfare. And I think the key word here is respect. We respect each other. They have their own philosophies in their programs. We respect that. We have our own philosophies in their program, and they respect that.
And so since then, it's been available, is this in all barangays,
yes,
all barangay health centers?
Contraceptives are available in all of our health centers. We have about 150, we call it barangay population managers, that goes around the barangays and promote family planning.
Okay. So it's actually their job to go around and promote.
Yes.
So kumbaga para sila nangangampanya.
Yes. Para kailangan namin pumunta sa sulok-sulukan and promote this program.
And do they target really, populated areas where family sizes are known to be huge?
Well, I think based on our numbers and based on our survey, we target the depressed areas. I think the depressed areas has the most number or the highest number of family members or children per family. That's why we targeted that area.
Okay. Before we got on there, we were talking about how recently there was a major survey done. I forget which firm it was, the two big ones, that they surveyed Catholics. And they asked them, if you're a practicing Catholic, what do you still choose for contraceptives? And a lot of them chose condoms. In your area, you did a survey likewise. What were the numbers that came out?
Exactly the same, no? We surveyed Catholics, Protestants, even Muslim, and we got exactly the same number. Among Catholic members, there was a high acceptance rate for family planning methods, and I remember it right as high as maybe 80 to 85%. No? And that's why we using those numbers, we channeled our program
Okay.
to the people.
Okay. This brings out a bit of a moral debate. What's your opinion on it? I know it's hard to dissect the data and make a conclusion of how they think and what their mindsets are, but do they still consider themselves as, you know, religious people, and then it's just one segment of the teachings of the church that they choose to, you know, not follow?
Well, in our case, no, our program is about family planning. Our program is about responsible parenthood. We're not saying, oh, use condoms or use contraceptives. It's not that.
Right.
If you go to our health centers, and if you go to our grassroots advocacy, we promote both artificial and both natural method.
Right.
No? We even give out yung counting beads, no, at the same time. So it's really their choice. It's really their choice to choose what method.
So you're not pushing one over the other?
No, never.
Not at all?
Never.
Okay.
We just inform them of all the methods, including the permanent, no, ligation and vasectomy, and it's up to them to choose which one.
And I understand, I was reading up on some of the data that you guys provided us. You give some of those for free.
Yes.
I mean, we're not just talking condoms and the beads, but even the vasectomies, and that, some of them can be given for free.
Right. Everything is for free.
Wow.
We tell them that like our ligation program and our vasectomy program, we tied up with an NGO, and we do that once a month, and they can sign up and wait for their turn. Right.
And would you say that this is all about execution? I mean, the theories have been there. Everybody knows what needs to be done, but with so much debate back and forth, it kind of gets, the issues get muddled up. But in your case, you've experienced running it. Is it all about the proper execution? Like, as you said, it's pushing both. It's not one over the other. Is it that way?
Well,
And it hasn't been easy.
Well, I also have to disclose that this program is not institutionalized yet.
Okay. When you say that, how would you explain it?
We don't have an ordinance that will support this program.
Okay.
Unlike Quezon City, I think Quezon City they have an ordinance.
Okay.
In our case, we don't. This program is a program that myself and my health department thought of.
Okay.
I consulted some of our barangay captains, and they think that this program is appropriate for the city.
Okay.
So meaning, while I'm here, this program will continue.
So it's in essence, it's coterminous with you.
Right. The real challenge now is to institutionalize
Right.
it.
How
And
difficult will that be?
it will be a challenge, okay, because now it's going to be open for debates,
Right.
and it's going to be published out in the public.
Right.
So it's going to be a challenge. But I believe that because of our numbers, no, there's a high level of acceptance. I think we can institutionalize this.
Technically speaking, how will this have to be done? It will have to be passed by the council?
Yes, a counselor or a group of counselors will sponsor this. We have to invite both different parts of the different members of the community to participate in the debate, and if they like the ordinance, then it will be institutionalized.
Some of the numbers that you wanted to share with us tonight are positive. I mean, they look good to support this program the last few years. Tell us about some of the positive numbers you've got.
Well, we for the last I think for the last 8 years, we've been gathering data, and in 2002, our crude birth rate was as high as 20%, and now it went down to 14%. So that means that out of 1,000 people, 14% of our population gives birth. And with our contraceptive prevalence rate, from a low of 10% 2002, now it's a high of almost 79%.
Wow, 79%.
Right.
Okay.
So
and a lot of this is because of the programs that you put in the last 3 years.
Exactly. Exactly.
Given that kind of data that you have, let's say it's going to come out and you'll have to institutionalize it, fully, heavily debated on. Do you think this is enough to support it, or what kind of hindrances do you still expect to come your way?
Well, the question here is, are these numbers translating to quality of life of our constituency?
And is it too early to tell?
It's very too early to tell.
It's only
This
been
is an
2 years.
investment.
Yeah,
like
right.
education, like infrastructure, this is an investment. We'll probably realize the fruits of our labor in the next 5 years. But I think it's a wise investment. And I think that the country needs it now, and we're doing our own part, to support the country's economic growth.
In terms of funding, you guys have covered it, and you've never asked for outside funding, say from the national budget of DOH or something.
There are a lot of willing groups, including DOH actually.
Right.
If they see that you're serious, they're willing to support you with cash. They're willing to support you with medicines.
Okay. And so far, how has the DOH been helpful? I mean, you've seen 2 sets now of it from 2004, of several sets actually. I don't know how many times they've changed leadership since then, but
well, I have to admit, when Secretary Cabral came in as our secretary, I think the last 2 years, she was very aggressive, and she was sending us a lot of contraceptives and even condoms. Also to promote because there was HIV was getting a little out of hand in our country, so she was very aggressive in promoting safe sex, and they supported that.
All right. Okay, Mayor, we have some comments online talking about what we've been discussing. We asked our ANC Twitter followers how the RH bill will fare under the Aquino administration. Of course, we're talking something specific what you've done in your city, but we're bringing it out to a wider perspective and how they see this example, if it can be replicated nationwide. I'll give you some of the comments, and you can comment on them if you want.
All right.
Emerson Kim says he believes that the reproductive health bill will prosper under the current regime since Pinoy has expressed interest in family planning. I also actually read another tweet of someone saying that it might be tough because he's a single guy. Okay. He doesn't have a family, so he has no experience, quote unquote, in family planning. You're young. I don't know. Are you married?
I'm not.
You're
I'm
not. So
single.
okay. So perfect example. How would you, let's say, if you were President Aquino and you were thrown that, and says, how can you say that you know how to, the country should plan their families? You're single and you don't have kids.
Reproductive health and family planning, it has multitude of facets, and one of it's economic. I think we should just focus on the economic aspect, and relating to our program, we call it population management. The key word here again is management. It's not control. We're not controlling anyone. We're just managing our population growth based on our resources.
How would you differentiate that? Is just that, are you just saying that, because some people can say you're just saying that to make it sound better to us, but how would you really quantify and say there's a difference in managing the population and controlling the population?
Well, when you say manage, you have to look at the other factors, like resources, your budget, your agriculture growth. These are everything that we have to look at. And based on those different indicators, you have to manage a specific item, in this case, population. Right?
All right. More comments online. Eddie tweets, the separation of church and state must be followed unless the church wants politicians to officiate mass. All right. You've never really encountered not even one priest who said, Mayor, baka pwede natin gawin ganito.
No.
Or what about outside your city, like, the national...
Actually, I don't know, I may be lucky, but again, the respect between myself and our church is we have very good relationship, and they know about this program, but I don't do it in their face type of approach. So I think it's just mutual respect.
Okay. Randy Bayona, meanwhile, says the government should just adopt a 2-child policy, especially for those who have less in life. Now, would you say that adopting a law like that, would that be control?
That is control. That's
control.
Definitely control.
Okay.
And I think that I don't favor that, although it should be strongly encouraged. Again, based on numbers, we have to have the numbers. Is it 1 child? Is it 2 child? 3 child? It has to be based on numbers. But I don't agree on controlling. That's a little too much, really.
On the other extreme, there are people who believe in the theory of strength in numbers. We heard, the Catholic side, or the Catholic bishop side, citing also that. And I've actually encountered in the past politicians who have believed the same thing. They have this conspiracy theory that the Western countries would want to minimize other countries from growing in number so that they don't compete against them. But in that respect, how do you react to that theory that they say there's strength in numbers, so let us grow as God wills us to grow?
Well, I guess, like, we have to learn it from other countries, like China, where they had uncontrollable growth rate, population growth rate in last maybe 100 years, and all of a sudden they realized that this cannot be the case, and they started control it drastically. So at one point in time, we really have to face reality and manage our resources, manage our population, manage everything. Again, economy is about different facets, and everything should be managed.
Some people have said it's all about, bottom line, political will. I mean, you can just turn a blind eye to the church, especially now. It's not campaign season where you can be campaigned against, right? But is this all that it is, you think? Or there are many factors if you need it to implement in the national level?
I think if you put a hierarchy to things, I think respect is number one.
Okay.
And number two will be political will. And of course, number three will be sensitive to your constituency. If they think this program will affect them positively, then go ahead and do it.
All right. Well, I guess on that note, we'd like to leave it at that. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing all the data you have. And it'd be really interesting to continue to monitor what you guys are doing over there. And in a few years, let's give us more data and let's see really how it progresses.
Definitely.
All right. Thank
Thanks.
you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll take a short break. We'll show you some other things. The new Nintendo 3DS. That's next when the rundown returns.